Here with Amanda. She is a medium. She can see and hear spirits, and we're gonna test her abilities out with the dowsing rods. We're gonna test the dowsing rods with her abilities, pretty much. What we're gonna do, we were doing this last night. This is crazy. I was holding the dowsing rod. She was sitting behind me pointing to the spirits in the room. I closed my eyes and the dowsing rods would point to wherever the spirits were. Yeah, so we're gonna do that right now. How many spirits are in the room right now?
4 now. I want you to point to the woman in the dress.
Are they moving?
The woman with brown hair.
Is it working?
Yeah,
Crazy. Spot on. She was like struggling at first.
I want you to point to the man that was with us last night now. That one was fast.
Spot on.
Spot on.
The picture behind me might look like a normal photo, but it's actually one of the most sinister, real-life haunted photos in history. Taken by a professional photographer in 1972 as guests arrived for a wedding, everything in this picture looks happy and normal. But if you take a closer look at the man standing in black, you'll see something odd. You can actually see somebody in white crouching behind the man. All 4 of the people in the picture said that there was no one behind them when it was taken. The photographer said the same thing, and that it would be impossible for someone to crouch behind them without him seeing them. This is a better picture where you can actually see the guy's legs, and then in the top you can see his eyes. The picture was even examined by police photographers, and they confirmed that it was genuine.
r/confessions. I lit a large fire in my neighborhood when I was a kid. I was walking home from school in 6th grade, and I had some matches, since I was fascinated by fire. I lit some dry grass on fire, and then attempted to blow it out. When it flared up, that just made it bigger. And before I knew it, a large part of the field, next to some houses, was burning. I ran down the street to a house where I knew a firefighter worked. His wife called the fire department, and they put it out before any houses burned down. Later that day, they came to my house to present me with my very own firefighter's helmet, a kid version. After asking me some questions, they wrote it off as a magnifying effect of some broken glass they found in the burnt grass. I never found out if my parents suspected me, and that firefighter's helmet on my bedpost was a massive source of guilt for years. Certainly never tried anything like that again. Mind-blowing facts with Gerard. Anechoic chambers are the quietest places on Earth and have background noises measured in the negative decibels. After a few minutes in the chambers, you can hear your heartbeat and blood circulating in your ears, and may even experience troubles with orientating yourself. Dogs can't actually feel any guilt. They can only feel sad because their owner is yelling at them. At 16 years old, Randy Gardner broke the world record for the longest period a human has intentionally gone without sleep, without using any stimulants of any kind. He stayed awake for 264.4 hours, or 11 days and 24 minutes. After needing 13 liters of blood from a surgery at the age of 13, a man named James Harrison pledged to donate blood once he turned 18. It was discovered his blood contained a rare antigen, which cured rhesus disease. He made over 1,000 donations in his lifetime, and saved over 2.4 million unborn babies from the condition. Shout out to this man right here. 2-sentence horror stories. In history class, we were listening to the sound of a nuclear alarm. The teacher turns off the sound, but the alarm keeps continuing to ring, louder, and outside. This pretzel has a weird texture, I thought. After a few more juicy crunches, I remembered the workplace had a pending request on cockroach extermination. With one last push, I managed to reach the surface of the river and breathed a sigh of relief. I looked up at the people watching and realized my mistake as they began to scream that I'm a witch. The babies are never quiet and they never sleep. It's been 20 years since the fire in the nursery of the closed down hospital. My sister came into my room last night and warned me not to go in the basement with my father tomorrow. I screamed in horror because my sister has been missing for 3 years now. When I came home, my dead mother's ghost was sitting in her favorite chair. It wasn't the first time I seen her there, but this time, I noticed she was nodding at me and patting the chair next to her right before my chest pain started. It's getting colder and colder in my home all of a sudden. I hope it's warmer outside once I'm born. Inside murderers' houses. This is the inside of Jeffrey Dahmer's house. One thing you notice about a lot of these houses is they aren't kept well. Inside of Jeffrey Dahmer's freezer, this bag on the left-hand side contains a human skull. This is the inside of Adam Lanza's room. Very creepy, very obvious signs of a recluse. On the complete opposite, this is the inside of Chris Watts' house. Very well maintained, nice, and pretty much a model home to the average American. Switching it back over to James Holmes' house. This apartment is obviously booby-trapped, as you can tell. He was used to living in filth, and stayed living in filth his entire life. Prison has probably been his cleanest living area. I always wondered, if they knew they were going to prison for the rest of their life, and people would be going into their houses, why wouldn't they just clean it up? That's disgusting. Top 5 ugliest animals. Number 5, the naked mole rat. Kim Possible, you lied to me. Rufus is lovable and adorable. This thing is a hideous monster. Number 4, a big-eared woolly bat. Your nose is ugly, your mouth is ugly, your ears are ugly, your brother is ugly. Speaking of brothers, number 3, the hammerhead bat. This guy is so impossibly disgusting, I had to look up if he was actually a real thing. Spoiler alert, they are. But oh how I wish they weren't. Number 2, the proboscis monkey. Believe me, I'm all for body positivity, but when it comes to... You know what? Let's just move on. Number 1, the eye. Biologist. I'm willing to accept a common ancestor with every other being on this planet. But this, that's a hate crime against humanity. I'm convinced this thing is an alien. Some people have claimed these things to be cute. I believe those people are pathological liars. Believe what you want. There's no possible way that anyone that I share DNA code with could ever possibly find this disgusting, horrid, horrific, putrid monster adorable. Bye.
Here we go, we're back in my scary apartment. My son looks up, and because he keeps hearing this shit, and the panels keep moving, and dust keeps falling down on me, and I'm like, okay, I gotta go check this shit out. I get up there, and it's dark, can't see anything, right? And then my son's like, dear father, turn your light on. And I'm like, you're right, son. So I turn my phone on, my cell phone light, and, I see something weird in the back. It looks like a box and some tubing, weird metal chunk on the thing, and I notice there's like a rip in the ceiling, and I go back and make sure I'm not missing anything, and it's really hard to see. I might have to go and check that side out, but I go back to the hole with the weird thing in the ceiling with the paint coming off, and I think there's a hole there, so something could...
While I was investigating at Park Cemetery in Fairmount, Indiana, I kept hearing what I thought sounded like a baby crying, so I had to investigate. I was led to this metal baby crib. The name on the crib was Sharon. She was born in 1944 and died in 1944. I think she led me here so she could be heard. Rest in peace, Sharon.
You see it! You see it! It had arms! No, those are arms.
Oh my god, it's a real person.
No, those are arms now. No, those are arms. No, those are arms.
Guys, I can't get out of
No, I don't care. Those are arms.
She has the gun hat on, I see it. That's fucking arms. She's looking at me.
Creepier pictures which have even creepier backstories. This shirt belonged to a young boy who went missing when he was a child, but 29 years later, they found this shirt underground with his body parts. Ugh. Next is this picture from one of the gas chambers during the Holocaust. If you look closely, you can see the scratch marks, and it was basically a picture taken after they were already dead, and you can see people were really trying to get out. But yeah, this one's kind of sad, but really fucking creepy.